Community Preservation Committee to order. Roll call vote. Oh, there's Diane.
Dr. Kurzberg,
Present.
Mark Preziosi,
Here.
Darryl McCamey,
Here.
Ron Frazier,
Here.
Maria Bonfiglio,
Here.
Diane Francis,
Here.
and Marta Googans.
Here.
Okay, welcome everybody. The first item under new business is the annual CPC public meeting that was delayed and was advertised in the Braintree Forum on Thursday, October 1 and Thursday, October 8. Is there a motion to open up the public hearing?
So moved.
So motion made by Ron Frazier. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Second by Diane Francis. Roll call vote, I guess, Christine?
Yep, sorry, folks, we have to do this for everything. Dr. Kurzberg,
Yes.
Mark Preziosi,
Yes.
Darryl McCamey,
Yes.
Ron Frazier,
Yes.
Maria Bonfiglio,
Yes.
Diane Francis,
Yes.
and Marta Googan.
Yes.
Okay, so the purpose of the public hearing is to update the public on our activities over the past year. The period of time includes July 1, 2019 through June 30th, 2020, and also provides an opportunity for members of the public to ask questions and express their own ideas or any concerns that they may have relative to the Community Preservation Act. I'd like to provide just a brief overview of the activities of the committee this past year. There were 6 proposals that came before the committee. There was a proposal for the renovation of the Adams Playground to make it more usable for Little League. At a proposal was for $21,500, and that was approved. There was also a proposal to redo the pickleball courts at the Doherty Gym at a cost of $141,330. The committee discussed that proposal at 3 meetings and took no action on that. The Historical Commission presented a proposal to do a historic inventory of the buildings in town at a cost of $30,000, and the committee approved that. The Braintree Little League submitted a proposal for Watson Park Fields to redo some of the scoreboards, dugouts, some protective netting at a cost of $117,082.17. That project is still pending, and we'll have further future discussions.
Oh, yes, sir. Thanks.
And no action needed at this time. There was also a proposal for the design and construction of a playground at the Morrison School for a total of $223,845. And that proposal and project has been approved. And then the All Souls Church had submitted a proposal for restoration. The All Souls Church is a historical building, and they've submitted a $50,000 proposal for restoration pending matching funds, and the committee also approved that. And although it was not part of the fiscal year, the committee did take actions in July and September. In July, purchased the Liberty and Grove parcel at a cost of $1,360,000 plus an additional $50,000 for associated costs with the project. And at last month's meeting, the committee approved $250,000 for phase 1 of the Braintree Weymouth culvert and fish habitat to as a replacement of the culvert project. And the committee unanimously approved those proposals as well. So those are the activities. I don't think I left any out, but if I did, please someone jump in. But those are the activities that the committee had taken during this past fiscal year. Are there any questions or comments from the public? Hearing none, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Motion made to close the public hearing by Ron Frazier. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Marta Guggens. Roll call vote.
Dr. Kurzberg,
Aye.
Mark Preziosi,
Aye.
Darrell McCamey,
Yes.
Ronald Frazier,
Yes.
Maria Bonfiglio. Maria Bonfiglio? Oh, you're muted. Sorry.
Yes, sorry.
Diane Francis
Yes.
and Marta Guggens.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. The public hearing is closed. And the next item on the agenda is the Middle Street Monadequat River Trail. And the applicant is the Conservation Commission and Planning Community Development. And Kelly, are you making a presentation?
Sure. I'm not prepared to share my screen, but I think you all have received copies of the application packet with the trail plans.
Yes, we do.
So as I think you're all on the committee, or most of you were on the committee a few years ago when you approved the acquisition of the Middle Street land, 6.4 acres. That was in 2018. And we've been working through the design of the trail system slowly but surely. We're at a point now where we're close to completing the design and expect to be permitting it locally in the winter and going out for construction bids in February or so, with the goal of starting construction of the trail in the spring. Or actually, no, let me look at my notes. In June. So the goal is to have the trail complete at this time next year. It's a 1/3 of a mile loop. The site drops off a lot from Middle Street. So the first leg of the trail would be on a boardwalk, elevated boardwalk, until you can meet the grade. Then it'll be at grade stone dust. And then as you get closer to the river, where it's very bouldery, it would be sections of boardwalk in that area to be above the flood elevation, base flood elevation. And the other component of the project is to create parallel parking on Middle Street, 6 parking spaces. We're working with the engineering department on that, and included an email from John Thompson, who I see is on the call as well. We have a cost for the parking and a cost estimate for the trail itself. The total of that is about $617,000. I've received a few grants, 2 recreational trail grants and 1 pending grant for $300,000. It's a federal grant that we expected to hear about in September, but they've been delayed. Now we're expecting to hear in January, but this grant is packaged up by the state. So the state kind of does the first round of approval and says, these are our projects. They send it on. They said usually they're successful. So preliminary feedback is good, but it's not definite yet. But I'm hoping, and hoping that comes through. So that's the plan, and I figure I might as well just keep moving forward and get our local match lined up and get the funding lined up and be ready to move forward when that federal funding comes through.
Thank you, Kelly. Are there any comments or questions for Kelly, or anything you want to add, Christine?
Kelly's been doing a great job with this property. It's not been the easiest thing, and She makes good use of any grant program. So when she comes to you for funding, she's tried to leverage what she can in other places. I think it's a great project.
Well, I know the committee's been very excited about it from the beginning and looking forward to see it come to fruition. And how is the parking coming?
We are, John, are you able to weigh in or willing to weigh in, I should ask?
Sure, no problem. So so I do have a design that Bob Campbell had worked on that we were working with Kelly to get it amended a little bit. The original design had included, I think, 9 or 10 spaces. We ultimately decided that that might be a little too aggressive, just given the width of the roadway there and the fact that we do have to bump the curb in a little bit to make the parking viable. So, and I did recommend to Kelly as well that it would probably make sense to wait for the actual Riverwalk project to start first before we start tackling the parking on Middle Street, just so, you know, we can, if anything has to change in terms of the location of the ramp or anything like that, and the walkway, that we can adjust on our end.
Okay. Thank you, John. Any other comments or questions?
I guess I have one, Peter. Kelly, is there a contingency plan if the federal grant doesn't come through in January?
No, I guess my options would be to come back and ask CPC for more money, or also apply for, you know, another round of recreational trail grant. But since I've applied to them twice, and I think both times I asked for 100,000 and they gave us just under 50, so they don't seem to be, you know, able to fully fund this. So my options would be to come back and ask CPC for more funds and supplement with another recreational trails grant.
Okay.
Maria?
Actually, that was part of my question, so thank you. And on page, I think it's 2 of the packet that we had, it's the 245,000 is what we're anticipating from the state?
Yes, yeah. Well, actually, the feds, it's the Land and Water Conservation Fund.
Yes, that's the figure. Okay, okay. So that's what we're hoping that we're going to get from them.
Yes.
And if we don't, then we have to go down other roads and potentially we're part of that road to go down to get more money. Okay.
And I may have missed it, Kelly. What's the reason that it's split up over 2 years, the request?
Oh yeah, that was another question, yeah.
150,000 for 2021 and 150,000 for 2022.
I guess because most of the construction itself would be, well, the construction itself would be split, you know, wouldn't be complete by the end of the fiscal year, it would span over the summer months. Like the bulk of the construction would be in July, August, September.
Yeah, Christine, I don't know that we can, I mean, we could allocate the whole 300,000 now. I don't know that we can commit to funds for a form, you know.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but I think, so we're in fiscal year 21 now. You're talking about fiscal year 22, she split
Yeah.
it.
Couldn't we just carry over the money if it's not all spent in this year?
Yeah, I mean, everything carries over anyways. That's the nice thing about CPC. I think initially when the application was created, the board was looking to see those things, those projects that were multi-year and how it would work. And maybe it's been misinterpreted that about splitting it. So I think Kelly's always been very conservative, and I think she just didn't want to have to tie something up that maybe someone else could use in 21. Or the option is you could vote so much out of open space for 21 and the other out of unreserved. I mean, the board has that luxury, but I would suggest some funds come out of the open space.
Any other thoughts on that?
I have a question. This parcel came up, we took advantage of it. Kelly always does a good job looking for grant money, which is
Mhm.
hard to find and probably going to be increasingly hard to find. So just looking ahead, Kelly, do you feel like there's going to be any other potential add-ons to this trail or the Mannattucket River, generally speaking, in the next, year or two? You think anything is going to come up, or is it just, we just got lucky this time?
I'm not got lucky with the.
Well, no, with getting this piece of property, right? And
Oh,
having access to it and,
yeah, I don't see anything else on the horizon. I mean, as you know, there's really not much that's undeveloped
Right.
along the river. So between this and the Armstrong site, that's seems to be the only game in town.
yeah. So I guess my point is, if you put it all together and, we really haven't done a lot, this is really 3, 4, 5 years worth of projects that come up at one time. So I think to Dr. Kurzberg's point, if we had to allocate, I don't know what the right approach is, whether it's 150 or 300. I mean, both approaches seem, pretty reasonable to me, since, like she just said, this is what we have in front of us for the time being.
I do have one more question. Kelly, the cost of the trail, which on the projected costs, it says $550,000. Just out of curiosity, is in that cost, is there consideration for picnic tables, things of that nature that we discussed that people could
Yeah,
utilize?
there's some, interpretive signage and site features. There's 5,000 budgeted for that. And knowing that what signs cost, because I'm looking at having some printed for another project. There's definitely room in that 5,000 for simple wooden benches, and, it's not gonna be anything like a gazebo or anything, but simple trail features. Yeah.
Sure, okay.
Okay, so my only thing is I'm not sure if legally we can commit something for FY 2022, but we can commit 300,000 for 2021. And if it all doesn't get spent, it doesn't get spent, but it doesn't get lost either, and the money is there for the future project for costs associated with it.
I think that'd be the most prudent way to go forward, do it as one lump sum, 300,000. And then in the interim, between now and the next meeting, I'll get that clarified as to the fiscal years and see.
Okay, any other questions or comments before there's a motion made? No, okay. Mark, are you prepared with a motion?
I am.
Okay,
In accordance with the provisions of Chapter 44B of the general laws, the Community Preservation Committee recommends the appropriation of $300,000, $150,000 from the open space and $150,000 from the unreserved fund for the Middle Street Mannattucket River Trail Project. Said funds are to be expended under the direction of the Community Preservation Committee and the Director of Planning and Community Development, conditional on a signed community preservation grant agreement.
there's a
Can I
mo-
make a suggestion on that? We don't need the community preservation agreement. It will just, because it's an in-house department. That's when we go outside.
Okay, all right, then strike that.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, I'll second that.
Motion made, and Ron, did you second that?
Yes, I did.
There's a motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Okay, Christine, roll call vote.
Dr. Kurzberg,
Aye.
Mark Preziosi,
Yes,
Darryl McCamey,
Yes.
Ron Frazier,
Yes.
Maria Bonfiglio,
Yes,
Diane Francis,
yes,
Marta Guggens?
Yes.
That's unanimous, Mr. Chair.
The motion carries. Thank you, everybody. And Kelly, the next item, new application from the Conservation Commission for the Monadnock River Trail at the Armstrong Dam site. Kelly?
Yep. So this site, you're probably all familiar with it. It's the Armstrong Cork Factory site, which has been undergoing demolition the last year. Not much of it remains. So this is a much bigger project where we're working with Marine Fisheries and Division of Ecological Restoration and some other agencies on removing the obsolete dams, mainly for fish passage, but there's other benefits, and including, the restored river channel should be a lot more scenic than Hollingsworth Pond is. And the owner of the site has agreed to give us an easement to construct a public access trail along the restored rivers, which would go from Plain Street down to the Rock Falls, that's about 1/3 of a mile. And at the Rock Falls, it's really probably one of the most scenic areas of probably in the most scenic area of the river throughout Braintree. It's kind of like a waterfall, and it's everyone who goes there kind of gets pretty excited about it. So that's the goal of this request is, we're doing a lot of work with the team on fundraising for this very expensive project. And so I'm asking CPC to contribute funds towards the trail specifically, and then, going to use that as match for other grant sources towards the overall project to remove the dams, restore the river, and construct the trail. So on this project, I'm also asking for $300,000, and the timeline of this is we are hoping to begin construction next summer. The dam will be breached and removed and the channel constructed, and the trail itself would be a little bit later. Later in the summer, but it's a similar timeline to the Middle Street project. So if all goes well, we could have two trails on the river at this, opening next fall.
Okay, thank you, Kelly. Any comments or questions? Okay, Kelly, so we'd be contributing $300,000 to a project that costs $3.7 million,
Yes.
and the funding is in place for all those other sources?
No, it's not. So if you look at that list on page 4,
Yeah.
we have the big source of money from NOAA, that's pending. DER, that's with 100,000, that's a guarantee. Messina's contributions, a guarantee. Us, the town of Braintree, if you guys approve it, and the municipal vulnerability preparedness grant, 750,000. Those are really the only things that we have in place. So we're continuing to work on this, and there is a lot of support from the state, with particularly Division of Ecological Restoration. So
Is the dam
I'm
and
optimistic that we're going to get the rest of it. So
Okay,
again, just kind of like moving forward and hoping all the pieces line up, but it's a little bit of a puzzle to make all the pieces fit.
the dam and seawall grant is not confirmed yet?
No, they haven't actually even announced the round yet. So
Kelly, can I ask all the other, what hasn't been confirmed? All of those funding sources are coming from the state?
NOAA's
With
federal,
NOAA being federal, yes.
Yep,
So
and
the others
U.S.
are-
Fish and Wildlife is federal, but
This-
the others are state.
okay. That's federal, the US Fish and Wildlife, those are, okay.
So the worst case scenario, if nothing else comes through or most of it doesn't come through, what does the 300,000 get us?
Well, in that case, we wouldn't have a project. There wouldn't be any,
We wouldn't be spending the money unless we get the grants.
right?
Okay,
And Kelly, is your sense that you said there's a lot of support, state and federal for these projects. So is your sense that, you know, we may be in good shape to get this money?
I think we are in pretty good shape. Yeah, I think having the support of DER, Division of Ecological Restoration, they're really providing a lot of technical support and helping guide the project through permitting and fundraising.
Sure.
So I'm optimistic.
Have you seen anything, you know, so the state and federally, because of COVID and certain, you know, some income being compromised because of it. Have you seen that in other projects, other areas, felt that? Is that a concern?
I haven't seen it yet, but I've
Okay.
been a little worried about if it's coming.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I guess looking at it, that would be a concern of mine, just to wonder if those organizations are going to have the resources they once thought they were available for these grants. Yeah, okay.
Okay, any other questions or comments? No. Mark, are you ready for a motion?
I am. In accordance with the provisions of Chapter 44B of the general laws, the Community Preservation Committee recommends the appropriation of $300,000 from the Open Space Fund for the Manattaquit River Trail at Armstrong Dam project. Said funds are to be expended under the direction of the Community Preservation Committee and the Director of Planning and Community Development.
A motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Mark Preziosi, seconded by Diane Francis. Any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote.
Dr. Kurzberg,
Aye.
Mark Preziosi,
Yes.
Darrell McCamey,
Yes.
Ron Frazier,
Yes.
Maria Bonfiglio,
Yes,
Diane Francis,
Yes.
Marta Googans.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.
Thank you, committee, members of the committee. The third proposal before us is the Braintree Weymouth Daylighted Park proposal on Commercial Street. This is phase 2 of the proposal that the committee approved last month.
I'm gonna try this screen sharing to see if I can get you a picture of what it looks like, but I have to be honest, I'm not good at this. So let's see.
Is this the area right next to the building that has the steel grates next to it?
This is, do you know where a barber shop was in the old grill? The
Yeah,
old,
it's on the same side of El Serape, right?
yes, that's right. I'm just having some trouble. Sorry about this. There it is. Are you guys seeing the plan from
No.
Beta?
No.
Yeah.
No, okay.
You need permission to share your screen?
I think I have it.
Okay.
And come out one more time. I apologize. This is all new to me, trying to get this to work. Do you see a plan now?
Well, no, see the agenda.
See the agenda.
See the agenda, okay. Let's try this again, one more time.
It was almost there.
No,
I'm on it for a minute.
why is this not working? Well, I'm gonna have to tell you about it then. I'm not having much luck, my apologies. So if you go down to the landing, almost directly across from where Brookside Road comes intersecting into the landing, there's lights there. and El Serape, and then there was an insurance building and then a small barber shop. And right next to it, all the buildings have been taken down on the Weymouth side. And that was the DeLagus project, and the Old Mill Grill was there. So phase one was the first portion of the culvert beneath the ground and all the relocation of the utilities. And we took that up at the last meeting. That was the culvert. They had the special bottom for the fish to be able to do their thing. And then the second part of it is actually the above surface aspects of it, which are a small, kind of like a pocket park. It's going to have some benches. It's going to have some landscaping areas where people can look down into the daylighting, very similar to what you see down by Venencia and Weymouth, where the fish run is there. And then, you know, some other items, some interpretive signage and things like that. So the proposal we put together for our share, this has been working with Weymouth, is for $150,000 for the park. And in that application I provided you with, I had outlined how their funding had come to be and what everyone's contributing it. So that's pretty much it. The plan was in the package I sent out with the application. And I apologize, I can't get it up.
That's okay. I drove down there. I wanted to see where it was. I actually thought it was across the street because there was something open at some point, I thought, across the street, but maybe not. Anyways, there is a steel fence. It's got bars on both sides, and there's cement walls on both sides of the river or stream. And so it just looks like the park would be a little to the right and a little to the left based on the drawings that are here. But I don't know where you'd park, but you could certainly walk down there and take a look at it. But so it looks like the fencing is up, the protective fencing to keep people from jumping into it. And it's a cement wall on both sides to protect the stream or keep it maintained. But
so that, you know, the daylighting was part of the mitigation with the MBTA that we agreed to with Weymouth as well. But I neglected to say that this will also be tied in with our Riverwalk program. So we have a path that goes through the Katzen property, the Landing 53, goes over by the Greenbush commuter rail station, and it goes to the left and to the right, goes down through Weymouth, and then on the left-hand side, it goes across the bridge and picks up with Watson Park. So the idea of the pocket park is not necessarily something that you would drive to. It's more a pedestrian type of park, that if you were in the area and picked up a sandwich and wanted to sit somewhere and have lunch, that type of thing,
Yeah.
Or you were just walking through after dinner at one of the restaurants. It'll have lighting and it will have fencing to protect anything from getting into the culvert, but there'll be certain times of the year that the fish will be spawning, and that may be of interest to some folks, and that's what the signage will explain.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you, Christine.
Mm-hmm.
Any other comments or questions? No, if not, Mark, do you have a motion to make?
I do, although I'm not used to proposing to spend $750,000. I feel like my wife.
Oh.
Marty, you don't have to tell her that either.
I can't wait to get off this.
In accordance with the provisions of Chapter 44B of the General Laws, the Community Preservation Committee recommends the appropriation of $150,000 from the Open Space Fund, the Smelt Brook Culvert and Fisheries Habitat Restoration Project, Said funds are to be expended under the direction of the Community Preservation Committee and the Director of Planning and Community Development.
Motion made by Mark Preziosi. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Second by Diane Francis. Any further discussion?
Just
Roll call vote.
clarification, Peter, I think I said 150,000, but
Yeah, I think it's
application says
250.
250.
Yeah. Yeah,
No, it should be 150. This is phase 2.
Right.
Is there a typo on it?
it does say 250 on the application, 2020, 250.
Mine says 150.
Hmm.
So last month, we had the 250. You've already voted that one. That's phase 1.
Okay,
This is phase 2, and it's the park, and it should be for 150.
All right,
It's
so
a-
I don't
it's a
have to amend
different
my
application.
motion.
oh, you know what, I have both the proposals, you're right.
Yes.
Yeah, the top
Okay.
phase 1 and phase 2.
As do I, Maria. So
Yeah, I have
the
both. of-
150 is the correct number then.
Yes. So we had a motion and a second from Diane. Do you want to do roll call? Dr. Kurzberg,
Aye.
Mark Preziosi,
Yes,
Darryl McCamey,
Yes.
Ron Frazier,
Yes.
Maria Bonfiglio,
Yes,
Diane Francis,
Yes.
Marta Guggens,
Yes.
unanimous.
Okay, motion passes. Thank you, everybody. Okay, on to old business. Project updates. Armstrong Dam Public Access Project.
Well, I think Kelly kind of brought you up to date with what's going on that with the application, so I don't know how much more. Do you have any questions of her? She's still on if you want to ask.
No, anything you want to add, Kelly?
No, we have a draft easement document, which our legal department is reviewing. So hopefully that part of it will be finalized soon.
Okay, great. The Middle Street open space? Anything more to add to that?
No.
Okay. Doherty Gym restoration.
So as you know, Derek has left us and he was carrying on that project. And I believe everything is done as far as design. I haven't talked to Nelson. I didn't get a chance today. But the next steps are for the construction. But there's been no discussion yet about another application for funding from the construction. I have to talk to Nelson and see what he wants to do.
So there is no money for construction at this point, correct?
Right. It's only been design that
Okay,
you've appropriated. Yes.
okay. Any questions on the Doherty Gym? No, okay. The Morrison School Outdoor Classroom Project?
So that seems to be going along pretty well. Nichols Landscaping is the primary contractor out there. They've been doing some work. I have not myself been out there physically, but both Connor from my office and Kelly have been checking on it routinely. And I think we'll be close to the end of November, but I think we'll be able to make it for it to be complete. The last I heard, they were moving along pretty much on schedule.
I think they said it would be completed before the snow falls.
mhm.
So let's hope for a mild winter.
Right. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Any questions on that project?
no,
No, okay. The Elm Street Cemetery.
So the Elm Street Cemetery has kind of reached a little bit of a snag. The Historic Commission's going to deal with it again on their December meeting because they usually meet the first Tuesday, and with the election in November, they're not meeting. But there was an issue when the work was being done that there was a fence that went above one of the tombs that didn't get replaced. And I think there was some decisions made in the department that we thought in lieu of that, it would be all right if it hadn't been done. And some of the members feel very strongly about it and it should be done. So what we're having them do is go out and take a look at it. We still have available appropriation to get it done if needed. There'd be nothing that we'd have to come back before to ask you. It would just be a change order to the existing contract that we have. So I'm kind of looking for some direction from the Historic Commission whether we'll have it put on or not. I don't know if it will happen before the cold weather, but if they agree in December they want it, we'll make sure it gets done. It shouldn't take very long, and probably with one good warm day, it can be taken care of. So we'll just have to play it by ear.
Hey, thank you, Christine. Ron, do you have anything, insight into any of that?
No, I'm one of the people who feels it should be replaced because there's a substantial drop behind the tomb. And it's a barrier for people, but
Yeah.
again, the rest of the commission is working on it. We've voted twice to replace it, but it still hasn't been replaced. So that's where we stand.
Okay, so if you voted twice on it, where do we stand with that then?
I think that I have to be honest, I didn't administer it myself, and I'm not trying to throw it on Derek because he's the last guy out, but he did take care of the project. It should have probably been done. I don't know what the trade-offs were at the time. There were a couple of things about brackets and things that didn't work out. And sometimes there's a little give and take, but you know, we certainly have the funding still there. And if the commission comes back and says, absolutely put it up, we'll see that it gets put up. I don't know. I'm not disagreeing with Member Frazier. I haven't had the time to go back and look at the minutes and really go through the whole record that Derek was working on. So
is there some correspondence that has to come from the commission to somebody, to us, or to?
Well, I think that if the commission says they want to put it back up, I'm not trying to disagree with Member Frazier, but I think there was some discussion about the vote and what had been done, and did we know it was supposed to be done? And so that's why everyone was going back out to take another look at it and see if it's necessary. And that's kind of how it was left at the last meeting.
Yeah, if I may, it was included in the contract to do it. The people who were doing the work apparently determined that it was going to take more work than they had planned on to do it, and the cost was going to be more than they wanted to spend on it. So that's where it stands right now. I mean, it was voted twice. Derek brought it up twice, and both times the commission did say they wanted it replaced. Now, the contractor is claiming that it's going to cost too much to do the work because of the brackets that are needed.
So is that our fault or his fault?
It's their fault because they apparently
bid the project.
correctly.
You know, I don't want to argue back and forth with it, but I'd like the opportunity to go back and go through the files, because I only can go by what Derek had told me. There was issues with the brackets. There was some things that had to be modified. I feel better if I could at least come back to you
Okay.
after I've had a chance to look at everything. I'm not disagreeing with Member Frazier. His recollections could be 100% right. I just can't confirm from what I have in the files. So
Okay.
maybe we could discuss it at the next meeting even.
Sure,
That's all right.
sure. Okay, thank you. Conservation restrictions?
So we continue to go through lawyers in the legal department. We now have a new lawyer, assistant town counsel. As you know, John Goldrosen was handling that and working with DCR on the language that's needed. We finished off Plain Street. I don't know, Kelly, do you want to speak to it since you've been?
Yeah, Plain Street has been voted by both the council and the Conservation Commission and is being signed. We're pretty close. I just got the one on Washington Street, the Norfolk County land, that came back from the state today. And I sent it up to Crystal, the new assistant town solicitor. And I think that's, and then the only other one we need to do one for Middle Street, and we're waiting on the land trust to draft that. They've made a site visit and it's in their process, but it's between all the parties and the back and forth, it ends up taking a ridiculous amount of time.
So that's not the former Norfolk County property you're talking about, is it, Kelly?
That was one of them. Yeah,
That was one.
that one's, that's the one I got back today from the state.
Okay. Any comments or questions on either of those restrictions? No. Okay. Administrative, CPC manager position.
So I inquired with the HR today. I didn't hear back, but I have not seen any applicants for the position. So I think it's been posted on the website. I'm going to recommend that it go on the Mass Municipal Association, which is a public position type of job board, and see if we can't get some interest. The problem is it's a very small amount of hours. It's a great job for someone that's maybe retired or working from home. But as of right now, we haven't had any applicants inquire.
How many hours a week is it?
It's 10 hours. We get, the pay is by every 2 weeks. So it's 10 hours in the 2 weeks. So I think it's like 5 hours a week, or however that, you know, there's flexibility. It can be all done in as long as it's no longer than 10 in that 2 week period. And Derek was very conservative with it. He did, you know, I think a lot more than what he actually put in for hours too. So, but it takes care of all the things after the appropriation, the procurement, the contracts, all the small details that can be overwhelming sometime. And our department lately has been struggling. We're down one person with our principal planner that hasn't been funded. So with the loss of Derek, it is quite a bit of work for everybody, but you know, we're keeping up with it.
Okay. All right, the monthly financial report. I don't think did we receive that?
I don't know, now that you say that. I did speak with Mark about it. Let me go back. And I do know that there's been some discussion with, they're going to be giving an update with the town council. And they have asked for some type of presentation. And I have suggested to them that we have Stuart Saginaw from the CPA Coalition come in, give his, you know, little explanation on the bird's eye view of CPA. And then the committee members could be on the meeting as well. And then we can talk locally. But the revenues have not been posted yet. And I think everything's just delayed with this COVID. But if he sent it, I do remember seeing something, and I think I just neglected to give it to you folks, but I will email it as soon as the meeting's over, the updated report, because I do remember something about him saying no revenues, so.
Okay, and the minutes,
I didn't receive any minutes.
no, I don't recall getting the minutes.
Probably didn't. There's just so many hours in the day. That's all I can tell you. We're doing our best.
Okay. So the next meeting would be November 16th, at the third Monday.
Yes, the 16th and December 14th. And I will have a draft calendar for your 2021. And I assume that this time works good for everyone on this day, that everyone can make it. So we'll just schedule a year's worth of dates.
Yeah, no, has anybody complained that they don't have access to us because of the time of day, or?
I haven't heard anything. I don't know if any of the members have.
No,
Haven't. Okay, if this works for everybody, we can keep it at 5 o'clock. Okay, seeing no further business, unless anybody has something that has come up that was not anticipated, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So motion made to adjourn by Ron Frazier, seconded by
Seconded.
Diane Francis. Roll call vote.
Dr. Kurzberg,
Aye.
Mark Preziosi,
Yes.
Darrell McCamey,
Yes.
Ron Frazier,
Yes.
Maria Bonfiglio,
Yes.
Diane Francis,
Yes.
and Marta Gookins.
Yes.
Motion carries. The meeting is adjourned. Stay safe, everybody. Nice to see you. And we'll see you in November.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right. See ya. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
Kelly. Steve, thanks.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you.